So we got a bit of a delay. So how did I 4 times my business? So I started as a real estate broker back in 2001, 2002, 24 years old. I'm 48 years old. Just my wife saying nothing's happening. There's always something happening. You want to make sure we're all good there, Mateo? Yeah. So 21 years old, excuse me, 23 or so years ago is when I decided to jump into real estate. What an adventure it has been. I'm 48 today. I grew my business actually way more than 4 times, but I started as a broker, just like you, just like the people watching. Most of you are in real estate, you're real estate agents. You're struggling though. I know I struggled too. It was really hard. When I started at that age, I was so young that one of the challenges is I didn't have a big community. I didn't have a big database, a big network. When you start in real estate and you come from, let's say, 20 years of being in some industry, some business, and you had a role where you were in contact with a lot of people, a big database, it's much easier to then, when you start as an agent, to just reach out to these people, reach what I call reaching out to your database, and you've built relationship with these people, and so the trust is much easier to gain, to get, so that someone says, okay, I'll sell my property with you, or buy, or invest, or finance. And so, but when you're young, and a lot of you are younger now, starting in the industry, the average age when I started 20 years was about 56 years old, the average age of a real estate broker. Today, the average age is 36, but I'd bet you it's even younger than that. That's the last time I checked. A lot of you are in your 20s. It's really, really, really challenging. Oh, and you know what? The other thing is, some of you come from other countries, other areas, other parts of the country, or other countries altogether. So you don't have that network, you don't have that database, and so it becomes really hard. So I know how it feels. My first way of getting business was pretty straightforward. I wanted inventory, I wanted listings. I did not want to work with buyers. I'm sitting in school listening to the teachers, and I'm thinking, I don't even want to work with a buyer. Why would I want to do that? Now, hear me out. The buyer is, at the time, no contract, 1, 2. I'm just gonna just run around. It's inefficient. I don't have the inventory. It's like having a store. In my mind, it was like having a store with no inventory. So someone comes in, they say, I'm looking for coffee. I want my coffee, medium black coffee, and you don't have it in your store, and you say, okay, wait a second, I'm gonna run out and try to find coffee or a coffee shop and bring it back to you. So my logic as a 23, 24-year-old guy was, okay, let me get the inventory. If I have the inventory, I'm gonna let all the other real estate agents come to my store, and that's almost 50% sure I'm gonna sell something, or sell that listing that I have. So go into real estate. I'm thinking, I'm just getting inventory. I'm just gonna go for sellers, but I have no database. I have no work history. I'm a young guy. I had just gotten married, first son coming. I'd been in sales though. It's not like I didn't know how to sell. And that's why I got into real estate. I thought, I'm so good in sales and the other stuff I was doing. I was selling furniture, high-end furniture. 6% commission. I was used to the commission thing, but when I got into real estate, or I said, no, I'm going to get into real estate. I'm going to sell $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 homes back then, 6-7% commission. This is a no-brainer. But the reality is, again, like I said, I had no experience. I had no database. So what I did is I said, okay, well, for sell by owners, I mean, the guy has the sign up in front of his lawn. There's an ad in the paper back then. That's how we used to, the for sale by owner used to advertise. Let me just go get the inventory. Now, if you've been an agent and you've tried to call those for sale by owners, you know how tough they are. They think they know better, and rightfully so. I mean, it's their house. If they have any sales experience whatsoever, they're thinking to themselves, I can do this. I don't need a real estate broker. So the point of all this is that I had to struggle. I had to find a way to get that inventory. But let me tell you, once you get into the inventory, once you have inventory, it just gets easier and easier. Why? Because the inventory, the sign, the listing, the fact that you have a product in your store will bring attention and visibility, and that will help you perpetuate. Is that a word? I like that word. Help you get more business just by the sheer fact that you have inventory. So What I want to do today is help you understand how to run your real estate business so that you get maximum growth, and hopefully you 4 times or more your business through applying what we're going to talk about. What to prioritize. What do you prioritize? Because you've made a list. You think of things to do. I got to work on my website. I got to do content creation. I got to understand the market. I got to do research. I got to service the people that said that, hey, maybe I'm going to buy with you. Maybe I'm not. Can you send me condos? Can you send me houses? So all of that stuff has to take place at the same time as you also have to think, well, how am I going to get the next listing? How am I going to get the next business? So how do we go about doing all that? We're going to go into that today. You should take some notes, and you should comment and ask your questions. I don't often do this in a live setting, but today I decided why not. Usually I do these as webinars, and it's closed off, and you have to register. But today I said, the hell with it. We're going to go live. We're on all platforms. And so take the time, take the opportunity, and ask your questions about anything you may think of. This is not just for real estate agent, because any principle we're going to discuss today applies to any business. This was a big life lesson for me, a change in my business when I started studying business instead of just studying salespeople. You're in a business as an agent, you're self-employed, but you're really a micro business. And so the principles are the same, that you'd be selling coffee, houses, shoes. A business is a business. So let's start. So let's go back to my story. If inventory is the name of the game and you have no network because you're a young person or you just moved here, best thing to do is what? Well, back then it was the for sale by owner, the expires, the traditional way of approaching a potential seller buyer. Today, what could you do different is that you can use social media. We didn't have that. Now, social media gives you that visibility. Is it going to be as fast as if you pick up the phone and you call a for sale by owner? No, the answer is no, obviously. But what you're gonna want to do is to combine the traditional stuff to get your business going as fast as possible. So doing the things that are, let's call them inefficient, but at the same time doing the digital stuff, the social media, and using the technology that's free for you to get the visibility in the hopes that someone sees you as a professional, as a person they want to work with for their real estate plans or objectives. So if we start with the traditional stuff, the for sale by owner, fairly easy. One thing though is that with the new regulations now, and I guess this applies to pretty much every country, every provinces, but here in Quebec, you have to be on the do not call. You have to be registered. The agency you work for has to be registered on the do not call list, so that when you're even a for sale by owner, if you're trying to reach this person, you have to verify that the number or the person is not registered on that list. So if your agency is not offering you that service, we have it here, so you can get that through us. It's a low cost. It's $27 a week, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a powerful tool. You get the list of all the homeowners that you can call, the home lines, and you know what? Home lines. People tell me all the time, yeah, but no one has a home line anymore. No, that's not true. According to Bell Canada, we have still 70% of the population that still have home lines. So you get all of that. You get the business, like a phone book of businesses. Same thing. Are they on the do not call? Are they not? So you can target that. We can talk about that a bit later. The business, how to approach businesses for real estate inventory. And you have a list of cell phones. That one's not that great, though, I have to say. I have to admit. We're still working on that one. But you get these 3 phone books for $27 a week. And it's you can do that through us if your agency doesn't offer you that service. But you cannot, I repeat, you cannot legally go and do any type of phoning, even on for sale by owners, if you are not registered, or your agency, and you don't use a tool like the one that we're providing or would provide you for $27 a week. So for sale by owners, great way. Not too many brokers do it. The way to do it, though, is you have to be persistent. So you do not make one attempt or one call or one communication with for sale by owners. You have to you have to do an attempt, and my plan was to always do it. You got to be consecutively reaching out a minimum of once a week for months on end. So you can, my results were, my statistics were, out of 10 that I would get to go see, 2 to 3 months later, I would list 2. So that's a 20% conversion of getting a listing after a visit. Now, you got to get to the visit, right? I mean, you don't just make, like I said, 1 call. And so 10 visit was giving me 2 listings after 2 to 3 months. And the beauty of it was this: I was doing so many of these that people were calling me back 2 to 3 months later. I didn't know who they were. Like, they'd call back, "Hey, it's Jan, it's Johnny. How are you? Yeah, great." And I'm trying to think, who the hell is this? "Yeah, would you mind coming and giving us a free evaluation or an evaluation of our home? I think we're there. Like, we've tried it long enough." And that was great. Now, when you think of for sale by owners, we know, or you should know, and I'm going to give you this information now, that 94, 95, 96% in our area anyways, and I'm talking about the province of Quebec, will end up selling their property through a real estate agent. So when you know that it's going to go eventually in the hands of a broker, of an agent. So if you establish your list, your database, and you have 100, well, that 94 of those 95, let's call it 95, it's simpler for math purposes, only 5 will actually end up selling without the use of an agent. So your bet is quite high. The where you fail is that you just do the 1 attempt, and you're not stubborn enough, you're not committed enough that you do your follow-ups every week. It's fairly simple also today to get that list, that database of for sale by owners, because there's some great websites out there. I'm not going to mention it because I'm live, and I don't know if I guess I can, but Du Proprio, I mean, everybody knows that website. You can also, this is a bit of a trick, but you can register as a buyer, so you get email notification from Du Proprio when a new property goes up on the market on their website, and you can then attempt to reach out to those people. Now, there is disclaimers. There's mentions that this person does not want to be reached out by an agent. This client is on the do not call, whatever. You still have to go through the legal way of doing things, but if you want a simplified way of getting that list of for sale by owners, it's all on Du Proprio. Again, you can pick by area, you can pick by geographical area, you can pick by types of property. But I mean, if you're trying to just grow your inventory, you don't care what kind of property. You shouldn't. You want to get everything. Maybe I'll take a second for that, and then I'll get back to the for sale by own. But that you have a listing that's a rental for $1,400 or $1,200 or whatever it is, you're not making too much money on that, and we don't care. We want inventory. So if you had 25 listings of rentals, it's still great because you're getting that visibility. You can't look at things in a one-dimensional way. The inventory is what we're trying to do, phase 1, for the visibility, for the momentum that it will give us in getting more business. So don't start counting your dollar based on what you're getting as inventory. Take it all. Take a mobile home, take a piece of land, take a thing that hasn't sold, almost to the extent, and I'm exaggerating, but almost to the point of take it and take anything. I mean, unless you can't stand the person and you don't want to work with that person, but it's not for that. It's for the inventory. It's to get your business and your visibility up. You all know, hopefully, and I'm telling you this, when you put a sign up in front of a property in a neighborhood, the neighbors want to know what's going on. They're curious. Like, if my neighbor puts his house on the market, I want to know what's going on. I'm in real estate, and I still want to know what's going on. I want to know, how much is he asking? Why are they selling? What's going on? What do they know that I don't? Maybe they know something I don't. Maybe it's time to leave. So that inventory will generate more opportunity. We're going to talk about what happens when you get the listing to get to speak to all the neighbors and all that. But first, let's go back to the for sale by owner. Let's go back to, first, you got a database. You need to do this on a large scale. You're not getting 1 or 2 or 3 for sale by owner contacts and then start jumping on the phone or trying to get a hold of them or sending them a letter or an email or knocking on their door. You will fail if you think in ones and twos and threes, and you have to think in hundreds and in thousands today. So let's get that in our heads. If you do not want to do hundreds or thousands of communications or attempts to reach someone, you might as well quit right away, or get your checkbook out, get your credit card out, and hire someone to do it. Hire a company, hire, like us, we have all these services where we do targeted prospecting. This could be a great service for those that think, I don't want to do hundreds of calls, hundreds of emails, text messages, and all that per hour. We do it because we have the technology and the tools and the software. But you, as a business, as a self-employed, as a real estate broker agent, you have to get that in your head that it's no longer, oh, if I get 10 contacts, I'll get 1 or 2 or 3 out of that. No, you won't. You'll get 0. I know, because we do it every day and we have the data. And that's why I invest so much in the technology, the software. And I spend, thousands of dollars a day to have access to these tools, because I know that it's no longer tens. Again, go back 20 years. What was the stat? 10% will convert. If I attempt to call 100 people, I'll get 10 appointments. Bullshit. That doesn't work anymore. But why is that? It's because of the technology. It's because of the social. It's because of the amount of we're flooded with communication and notifications. Right now, just started doing this. How long has it been? A couple of minutes? 15, 20, 18 minutes? My phone's giving me 100 notifications. I got Slack, I got DMs, I got text messages, emails coming in, phone calls. So this 10 is wrong, and this 10% is wrong. Now, all these conversion we're going to talk about too. All the conversion ratios are all phony now. So if you're not in the mindset of hundreds and thousands per day or per hour of communication, go and hire a company. Anyways, if that's something that you're already decided, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, that's a waste of my time. Not a waste, but it's maybe not the best use of my time. Maybe you're better just getting the leads and then working those leads from that point on. It's a funnel. So we're talking about top of the funnel kind of work right now. We're not talking about middle to bottom of, okay, now I just need to convert. If you're working in a store, if you're an employee in a store, you're working the bottom of the funnel. The company's taking care of getting people into the store, and then you try to close them on whatever the service or the product that the company is offering. And a lot of you come from that background, from that retail background, from that sales, that where someone else was taking care of that part. So no shame in admitting to yourself that, hey, this is not my cup of tea. It is a hard game to play, to get from the top to the bottom of the funnel. So delegate, just give us that work. There you go. And I know what I'm doing. We know what we're doing. Again, been doing this for 23 plus years. So, but let's go back for those Etiennes out there that are like, nah, I'm going to do this myself, or I'm going to learn how to do it because I want to build an empire. I want to build this huge company and or huge real estate team. Let me put it that way. So go back to hundreds. So the database, you go into you register for Duproprio. You go on Duproprio website. Is one of the websites, one of the most popular one, anyways, here, and then start building that database. Once you get to 1,000 or so, then you want to start reaching out. Now, how do we reach out? You got to be creative here. You're not going to just do the calling. You will do calling. You will do texting. You should do voicemail dropping. You should mail. Use the traditional mail. Yes, you heard me right. You should, if you can get the email, if the email is there, email them, and even go and knock on their door. Now, when we talk about door knocking, it's never it's not going to be ever an activity where I'm going to dedicate or say to you, hey, dedicate 2 hours and just go door knock. No, it's going to be, you're going to map out your targets, right? So you're going to have this map. You can use Google and you can drop pins of all these for sale by owners that you're attempting to reach out to. And then anytime you go anywhere, anytime you leave the office, anytime you leave your house, anytime you're going, that it be for work or for pleasure or for whatever, you pull that map out. And on the way to wherever you're going, you're going to do little detours to hit those targets and attempt to reach or knock on the door. And we don't end there. So when you get there, when you get at that location, you're going to have a big box in the trunk of your car of door handle, what do you call them? What the hell is it called? The door handle thingies with your face and your name, your branded door hangers. It's what they call door hangers, but branded. So you get a box of those, you leave it in the trunk. Anywhere you're going, you leave a few minutes early, you go do a little not detour, but you're going to take a road that's going to take maybe a few more minutes to get to your destination, but you're going to hit those for sale by owner location, those dots. And not just that, you're going to go see the neighbors of those dots. You know how many times going to an appointment, the neighbors are more interested, or they have questions, or they want to discuss real estate. So while you're there, just take an extra second and go say hi, or door knock, or leave a door hanger. You do not want to, this is the mindset of multimillionaires and or extremely successful business people. They do not do anything for one purpose, ever. You see, if I was to go, let's take this as an example. Today, I wanted to do a webinar on this. I start the webinar, and then I'm like, why am I doing a webinar only when I could go live and do the same thing live, to be on multiple platforms? You can understand, like, if I'm going to do one activity, if I'm going to teach someone one thing, this was for one person, what I'm doing right now. Well, why would I do that? With the same amount of energy and time, I want to reach more people. I want them to record this. So I'm educating that person, because that was the original thing. Second, I'm going to go live so I can hit as many people as possible that go on their platform, on their devices, and see, oh, Etienne Meller's live. Now, you might not even watch it, but you'll see my name, so it's advertising. Then I'm going to record on a hard drive the actual whole thing. Why? Because then I'm going to use it for content. I'm going to chop it into a million pieces. All the smart things that come out of my mouth, we're going to extract as many as we can, and then I have content for my social. Then I'm going to package this and sell it in the future as training for a reduced amount of money, because it's going to be pre-recorded, versus my mentorship one-to-one that would be much more costly. So you get it. I'm doing 10, 12 things with this one activity today. I'm going to use this information to train my team and train my directors to do the same and multiply my knowledge so that they can transfer the message. So why the hell am I talking to you about that right now when we were talking about for sale by owners and door hangers? Is because if I am going to do an activity, I'm always thinking in multiples. So as I'm driving around and going to these for sale by owners, on my way to my kids' rehearsal or whatever it is, I'm going to see the neighbors. I'm going to knock on doors. They don't answer. I leave the door hangers, and I get to my destination. Now I've done multiple things. I've increased the odds of me converting something or getting some kind of a contact with something. I'm even going to say to you that the door hanger should have some kind of a call to action of some sort to engage or incentivize the homeowner to take the information that's on the door hanger and then hopefully connect with you in the digital world. Once you're connected in the digital world, it's easy to multiply. I hope you get this. And if you don't, leave me a comment. Leave me a comment. Ask me a question. It's the time. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on YouTube. Are we on TikTok too? Or we're not on TikTok. We're on Twitch. Wherever. So reach out. Now's the time. I'm not going to do that. I'm doing this for free. Usually you pay for this, but right now I'm giving it to you for free. So ask your question. Take advantage. So going back to, where was I with the for sale by owner? Yeah. So the database, let me write this down. So you've databased a substantial amount of those for sale by owners, not 10 or 20 or anything under 100 is stupid. You're wasting your time. Everything in business has to be large scale. All right, 20. We're in the digital disruptiveness, the notifications. So it's got to be used. So database mapping of those actually those potential listings, those clients, those for sale by owners. And now I'm going to set my repetition. So once a week will be what I will suggest you do minimum. So once a week. So if I have database today, 100 of these for sale by owners, I am going to reach out to them. I am going to call. I'm going to text. I'm going to mail. Yes, regular mail. I'm going to email if I have their email addresses. And I would even push it to try to connect on social. I mean, you could find some people now. Obviously, if the name is a generic name where when you type it, you've got 700. That's not going to work. But let's say you can, and you're a maniac like me. I would try to find them on social, try to connect. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 communication methodologies, vehicles I like to call them, per 100. For today, let's say it's Monday. So I've databased 100 Monday. I'm going to call, text, mail, email. So 100 of each of these things today to the 100. Tomorrow, Tuesday, I'm doing the same thing to the other 100, another 100. So if I do that for 7 days straight, I got 700. Then I'm going to rotate back. I'm at, right? So I'm at 700. I'm almost at 1,000. Now, the trick is this. In the beginning, you're thinking to yourself, and you should, if you've never done this, you're going to say, well, how the hell am I going to do that? I can't even do 50 calls. Like, how am I going to do 100? Well, that's where you're going to want to get into the technology and research, well, what are the tools that I can use? Then you're going to realize, oh, shit, I'm in business now. I'm in business. I can't be thinking I'm not going to have to spend no money. This is what they don't teach you in school. They don't talk to you about now you're going into business. And a business needs money, needs cash flow, needs operating juice. It's oxygen to the business. If you think that you're going to go into business without spending anything, you will fail. You will fail because you're going to realize what I just said about just the for sale by owners with the 100. I can't do that. Like most of you can't do even 50 calls a day. If you Google how many cold calls can you do in 1 hour? You know what the answer comes back? It's 50 to 80. I don't even think that most of you can do that. I'm not trying to insult anybody here. I'm just saying that that's from my experience working with hundreds of brokers, if not thousands. They can't do it. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the mental toughness because this is redundant stuff that's boring to death. And like I said earlier, if you think you're going to reach 100 and speak to 100 people, there's no way. You might actually speak to 0 with 100. Now, when you get into using technology and tools and dialers and predictive dialers, and I'm not going to go into all of that because that's pretty technical, but that's what we do. Now you can do 100 in an hour. Easy. And you don't have to do much. You just have to put the database into the dialer itself. Yes, there's some tweaking and finessing and details here, but you're going to be able to text, email, call, voicemail drop. Oh yeah, I forgot my voicemail drop here in my list. Voicemail drop. And that's all going to be done one time, and then it's the software that's going to do it for me. So now I've got the for sale by owners system going down once a week. So the Monday people that I'm reaching out today, next Monday I'm doing the same thing. Is my message changing? No, it's not changing. What's the script? What's the script? I can hear you with the what's the script? What's the script? Well, that's going to be something that we're not going to talk about right now because this is going to take an hour. I will, though, say to you that if you're interested in finding out what I do and what my script is when we talk about for sale by owner, you're going to have to reach out to me and I will give you that script. I'll tell you what it is. But right now we're talking about the mechanics to multiply the results of your business by a minimum of 4. This is the kind of stuff I did or had to do to grow my business. As you realize that you're growing, you're going to get more excited and you're going to want to do more and then find ways to do even more and to get bigger multipliers. But we thought, let's start with 4 it's a realistic thing for you to think about. If I said we're going to multiply it by 20, you're going to be like, that's impossible. It's too big of a bite. It's like going to the gym and saying, hey, we're going to, in a week, we're going to run 2 marathons. Like, that's just stupid. You got to start slower. And so 4 times, though, is going to change your life. For most of you, it's going to change your life if you get your business to 4 times. So this is easier to do. 100 for sale by owners. Start with every day, Monday through Sunday. Why am I saying Sunday and I'm not talking about Monday to Friday, though? I know I can hear some of you saying, well, no, but I got kids, I got this, I got that. No, you don't. You think you do. You don't. You have a business, and the business is a baby. The baby needs as much attention as everybody else. Now, you got to get some help from your spouse, from your family. You cannot operate and run a business and start a business, grow a business, if you're not going to dedicate the 7 days. The 5-day thing, the 5 days a week, is for employees. You're no longer an employee, so forget that. It's not going to work. You're not going to 4 times your business if you work 5 days a week and you take Saturday and Sunday off. There's no way, it's impossible. And you'd be the first human being on earth to do that. Name me one great business person that did the 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. Find me one. Find me one company that you do business with that works 5 days a week. A business, not a person, a business. So 700 would be your daily total for that. Now, let's go to what else can I do to get the business going fast? Because I said to you, we're going to fast track this. We're going to do the for sale by owners. But what about expired listings? Well, same idea, same concept, much easier to do, though, because they're on your matrix, we call it here in the province of Quebec. Elsewhere, you have a system, a place where it tells you all the listed properties that expired. You have all the information. You're going to do the same approach, same thing. Calling, texting, emailing, mapping it, door knocking when you're on your way somewhere, door hangers, and so on. Hey, I forgot. If you want those door hangers, we have those, and it's super cheap. I mean, a box of door hangers, you buy one box, you have it for 5 years, unless you're super aggressive. But that box of door hangers is going to cost you a few bucks, $50. Do you know what that costs, Mateo? Or like a box of 250, probably $100. I don't know. It's not that much, and you don't want to go all fancy on that stuff. You don't want the glossy bullshit. You're dropping it. It's quantity, but you have to have something done. So if this is something that you need, and you should, reach out to me also, and we'll get that for you. Calling, texting, mailing, emailing, social media. If you could connect with the expireds, same idea. So I'm going to do another 100. So now I'm at 200 per day. That's 700 per week. That's 1,400 when I add my for sale by owners. Same concept. The repetition of reaching out every. If I built my 100 on Monday, on the next Monday I'm doing the same 100. Now, what happens when the person in the 100 says, no, I'm not interested, I don't want to know nothing about that, take me off your list, stop communicating with me, whatever it is, in my block of 100, I then remove that and I had a new one. You follow? So 100 per day of for sale by owner, 100 of expireds, and then as they get off my database, as the people say don't, or I'm not interested, or I remove and I replace. But I always have 100 of these types of communications per day. So for sale by owner 100, expireds 100. What are we going to add to the so now we're at 200 per day. Now I know, again, no one's writing this, but everybody's thinking it. How am I going to do 200? I can't even do 100. And you just said that most of the people can't even do 50 calls per day. So how am I going to do all these types of communications? Well, that's where I'm going to help you with all of that stuff and the technology and all this. But you got to think first, okay, but what's the concept? What's the purpose here? Quantity and volume has to be. You're a business now. We don't do single things. We do multiplying things. So expireds for sale by owners, what can we add more? Well, what about all the people that you've already met in your life? Now, if you've done my Hell Week training, and some of you, I know, I see you there on the different platforms. It's the simplest thing, yet it's the one that most of you will not do and don't do. And for some reason, you want to go for directly who wants to buy and sell today, which is easier to mentally accept, like the for sale by owner and expires, because you know that they were thinking of selling or trying to sell. But you've got all these people that you know that in your database. When I talk about your network, it's all the people that you've met in your life. You've built relationships with these people. It's done. The relationship is there. And what's required for someone to want to do business with you and give you the keys to their house? It's trust. And trust comes from relationships. And so you've got, and you've been, no matter what your age, in contact with a million people. When you went to school, when you played outside and you played with the neighbors when you were not in school, when you went to daycare, when you go to family parties and the cousins and the uncles and all that, everyone's got a lot more connections than they think if you take the qualifying, if they want to buy and sell, out of the equation. So what I'm asking you to do is take a list, database, all the people you think, not you think, that you know you've met at least once in your life. If you're capable of coming up with a number, you're going to see it's going to be in the thousands. Even if you're 20, it's going to be much more than you think when you start writing it down. But you will need to put it all in the one document. Like an Excel would be my suggestion to begin, so that you can visualize, well, what's my database? What are we doing in real estate is we're not selling houses. We're making contact with some people so that when these people need to buy, sell, invest, rent, finance, refinance, they think of us. So the priority is to understand, well, how many connections do I have? How many relationships do I have? But if it's all over the place and you don't even know, it's not database, then it's going to be hard to work on those relationships because they're all over the place. They've not been defined into one database. So take an Excel spreadsheet or a numbers from Apple document and start writing down all the names. And even if you have just the first name, just the last name, if you don't have their phone number, you don't have their home address, because we'll want to database it like in a CRM eventually with more fields of where do they work, are we connected on Facebook, Instagram, and all of that stuff. But for now, if you have, you put the info that you have. It doesn't really matter. We're going to complete that later on. But you need to start databasing it so that we can then hit that list, not sell the list, not sell the people that you've taken time to build relationships with. And what I mean by that is that you're not approaching people and saying, hey, who wants to buy and sell? That would be selling. We don't want to do that. We want to reach out to those people and nurture the relationship so that when the time comes that they want to buy and sell, they think of us. Okay, so for sale by owner 100, expires 100. Now your database, you're going to hit 100 a day. So now we're at 300. 100 a day, meaning just nurturing that relationship through calling, texting, mailing them, emailing them, DMing, commenting on posts, 100 communication a day on the database. Now we're at 300. We're at 2,100 communications per week. Before I continue, I want to explain something. Now, when we talk about, and you're going to understand all of the why we're doing what we're doing because of this thing, is that if you understand that each relationship that you have, if you know that these people are going to be buying in their lifetime or selling or will have a need for your service, or you will think of the relationship and not the transaction. So how many transactions does the average Canadian do in his lifetime? And by lifetime, I mean between 24, 25 years old to 65. I'm going to let you respond on that. How many transactions in a lifetime? So if we understand that every relationship we acquire, we're not going to just have one transaction if we nurture that relationship. If we look at it as a transactional relationship and just about the money I'm going to be making, then yeah, that's not going to work because you're going to miss out on all the other ones. So it's 11 transactions from the age of 25-ish to 65. So apartments, new girlfriends, breakups, divorce, marriages, change job, more kids, less kids, kids going to university, so on and so forth, will make it so that the average Canadian will have 11 transactions. Now that's a lot of money. When you think that the average price right now in your neck of the woods, I mean, it depends where you are, but here in the province, if we talk about the province of Quebec, it's in the 500 something. If we talk about Montreal, we're in the 800-ish in certain neighborhoods, mostly the neighborhoods we cover. So that's $10,000 gross commission to 15 to 20 times 11 per contact, per person that you already know. Now you might say, yeah, but the people that I have are in this age group or whatever. Yeah. Don't start going all detail-y on me and all that. The point is that everybody that you know will need needs a roof, will have a need for what you're offering. That's the beauty of being in residential real estate. It's something that everybody needs. It's like toilet paper. I mean, if you go into a business, you want to go into a business that everybody needs that thing, not, oh yeah, it's just a little segment or it's this segment. I think you want to go with, okay, well, everybody will need a roof. The roof price will vary and who cares? You know, I want to be the Amazon of real estate. I want to cover everything from the mobile home or the camping site that's $25,000 to the $25 million, $50 million, $152 million mansion. So you got to keep that in the back of your mind. 11 transactions. So if we focus on doing more direct kind of traditional prospecting, like for sale by owners, expireds, and then we add the database, the people that we already know, right there, you're going to get quite a bit of business. Another interesting statistics, speaking of database, this is why it's so powerful to understand numbers. In business, numbers are everything. Like if you have a database of, I'm just throwing numbers here, 10,000, and you'll get to that point easy, just the people you know. Add to that the for sale by owners, the expireds, and everything else that we're going to do, and we'll talk about how to get your database to grow through other activities. But for now, if we just took those three basic things, and let's easier than that. Let's just say it's 10,000. How many transactions per year happen in the province of Quebec on the residential side? Again, averages, just easy numbers. Does anybody know? No one. This is important to know too. What's the potential business volume in my market? So we know that average per year is 90,000 transactions. So if we know that 90,000 transactions happens every year, what's the population of the province? Does anybody know that one? I think it's 8 to 9 million. So if we do 90,000 divided by 8 million, we're at 1%. So 1% of the population per year in Quebec has a need for buying and selling. So that's pretty cool, Matt. No? If you take the greater Montreal, so we said 8-9 million for the province of Quebec. If we take the greater Montreal area, most of you are in the greater Montreal area. What's the population there? Mateo, do you know? Yeah. It's 4.2, 4.1, 4.2, something like that. Last time I checked. So 1% of 4.1 would be what? 40,000? 40,000. Right? 10% is, yeah, 1% for 40,000. No. 40,000. So 40,000. So why am I maybe some of you are figuring out why I'm mentioning this. Is if you understand the conversion possibility, if you understand the probabilities, the statistics, then you know that, okay, if I have 10,000 in my database and 1% is the conversion, like 1% is the size of people that need to buy or sell, then I know that I have 100 potential people in my database that are actually right now considering buying, selling, investing, financing, or refinancing. Okay, why am I saying all these things? Buying, financing, refinancing. Some is, You got to be studying me here. I said the multiplier. If I'm speaking to anybody, I'm not asking them for one thing. I'm not saying, hey, are you considering selling? That'd be kind of dumb, right? Because I'm taking time to communicate with someone. I want to give them more things, more options on the menu. Not you come to my place, I only offer muffins. Well, yeah, but the guy doesn't want a muffin. He wants eggs. I don't have eggs. Well, I came here. You lost the client. What the hell? The client's here. Offer him something. So when I say, are you considering buying, selling, investing, financing, refinancing, doing any type of renovation to your property, or why am I doing all of that? Because I want to hit on something that the guy needs so that I can fulfill the need and get something out of it, so that my effort in reaching out and communicating is not just a potential no, and I just limited myself as for my return on my investment. You follow? Does it make sense? So 10,000 on your database, 1%, that's one. We want to increase the number of the database because now we know it's 1%. So the bigger my database, the bigger the potential result. Are you going to get the 1%, all of it in your database? That's almost impossible. But if you're going to be focusing on nurturing that 10,000, and if you're going to be learning and doing the things I'm going to suggest that you do, then you will hit a larger potential pay dirt, because if you nurture correctly, you get the business. If you're forgotten and you don't nurture, and I'm not talking, when I say nurture, the old brokers think, yeah, I send the calendar once a year. That's not nurturing. You can't do once a year nothing and be remembered. You today, with the notification bombardment, with the distractions out there, you have to be constantly in front of people, and that's the way the beauty of social media. I've been on a live right now for an hour or so, or close to an hour. You see people doing live businesses, very successful people doing 4-hour lives, 3-hour lives. Some do them every day. Why? Because they hit more people. The bigger the number of people that see you all the time, the less chances they forget you. They might end up not liking you, but I think that's a very small, minute number of people. Do you start hating Starbucks because you see it everywhere? Do you not like McDonald's because you see it everywhere? What about Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola is everywhere. Do you not like Coca-Cola or hate the business because you see it everywhere? What about the actors and actresses and famous persons that you see everywhere? Do you not like them because you see them everywhere? No. You like them because you see them, and you don't forget them because you keep seeing them. There's an expression in English, well, not an expression, but I don't know what you call it. It's focal equals causal. Whatever I'm focusing on is what's going to happen. So if I'm constantly in front of people, when the time comes for that needs, again, of the buying, the selling, the investing, the financing, the refinancing, I'm the one you see, you're going to think of me. So today I have no need for a coffee. Right now I see an ad, I see a Starbucks, I don't care, I got one in my hand, I'm not even thinking about it. But tomorrow when I get that craving for the coffee, whoever's going to fall in front of me at the time that I have the craving is who's getting my money for the coffee. And why Starbucks is getting my money most of the time is that they're everywhere. It's easy, it's convenient, it's fast. It's not too expensive. It's not too cheap because I want the status of the Starbucks. My cups look so messy. Today they fill it up to the top. And I'm thinking to myself, do you need training on that? I mean, if you fill the thing past the top of the cup, does it not make any sense that it's going to leak everywhere? And that's what happened. It leaked everywhere. And these are the types of things I think about. Yes, I am special. You know that. I know that. But I'm making money and I'm successful in business because of the things I just shared with you. And I truly believe that if you apply this, you will get the same results, and you will get the business that you crave or want or say you do. More visibility equals more business. It's that simple. But you got to do the nurturing and you got to do the proactive things. You cannot just put ads or just do posts or just do lives and not proactively reach out to people. So if I'm doing something like this, I'm taking down the names of people that logged in while we were doing the live. Or if we do a webinar and people show up, we take their names, emails, and we will proactively be reaching out to these people to say, hey, did you enjoy it? Did you have any questions? Did you want more information about this, or that? That part cannot just disappear. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't have the funds or the visibility, or actually you don't have the reach of enough to just do that to get the inbound requests or the inbound orders. You understand? Like most of you want to just take the orders. You don't want to do the proactive. You don't want to do the work of the follow-up. So what I say here to my team all the time, money's in the follow-up. Money's in the many follow-ups, not the one follow-ups or the two follow-ups. Money's in the 12th to the 24th to the 56th time that we follow up. We have a leads program, the MG Lead Assist program, where we generate buyer, seller leads, investor leads throughout the province of Quebec, and we distribute these leads once we've pre-qualified them through an app to brokers across the province that are on the program. And a lot of these leads become pre-qualified after years, months and years, and a lot of communications, a lot of emails, a lot of text messages, a lot of voicemails. And that's how we get the business. You will not get the business with ones and twos and tens. You will not. And you got to stop listening to the people you hear online that say, do 10 of this and you'll be rich, or you do 10 of this and you'll get the business, or do 10. They're not doing it. Obviously, they're not, because they wouldn't say that. These numbers don't make any type of sense whatsoever. And really, when you think of it, if it was that easy to just do ones or twos or tens, or, I mean, everybody'd be doing it. What's the average, do you think, number of outbound communications per day, per person in sales or in business? I would say it's less than 10 from my experience. And so you see the results. Average real estate agents out there make 2-3 sales a year, or maybe up to 5 at best. So, how can you expect to have a real business with comfort, with a lifestyle where you're not the one doing everything, where you have some kind of a quality of life, where you're enjoying life as you're working? That's what you want. You don't want to just be working. You don't want to just be in a closed off office, no window, just making calls and sending emails and text messages and that. You want to enjoy life. How can I be right now talking to you for an hour and a half while everything else is going on with my 3 agencies? Like, how can I do that? How did I learn to do that? I hear some of you say sometimes, yeah, but your business is different. How is it different? All businesses are the same. What I explained to you over the last 60 minutes is the same for all businesses, all of them. The difference is the quantity of money to get the bigger reach. If you had $5 billion to put in advertising, or $5 million, you would put that into campaigns that would give you the reach, and then because that reach is so big and your offer hopefully is compelling and good, then you would get the inbound request for whatever it is that you're offering. Why do most successful brokers don't do no type of prospecting whatsoever after 10 years plus of being in the business? And I know them all. Why is that? Well, because they have the visibility. They've built the reach. They've nurtured or are nurturing their database. Are they still growing though? That's the question I would ask them to think about, because if they are not, and if they're flat, really, they're not, they're dead. They're in decline. The decline is not like that. So that's why they're saying everything's great. My business is stable, but saying my business is stable, you can't be stable. Inflation, cost of everything is up. So if your business is stable, you're actually eating away your profit. So something ain't right. Oh, you don't know the math. That's the other potential thing here. How many of you don't know the math? You got to know the math. So I want to leave you with one last thing. Speaking of math, You know, when you calculate that you're a business now, when you understand that you're a business now, the target you set yourself up for as revenues are not your salary. I think people mix up salary. What am I going to take for me to work in my business versus what is the business earnings? Those are two separate things. And so to simplify this, the formula should be this: if I earn $100,000, or excuse me, if my business has $100,000 in revenues. So for you as an agent, if you're an agent, gross commission, well, what is the amount that I should pay myself as the employee of that business? Anybody can write and comment. Whoops, what did I just do here? I screwed it up. Anyways, so 33%. So let's do this. 33, this is the equation to simplify what you should allocate for your salary as an employee of that business if you're making 100,000 gross. So you got to pay the government taxes, so 33%. You got to pay yourself 33%. And you need funds to operate the business, your office fees, your marketing fees, your tools. You know, we talked about the technology earlier. We talked about using predictive dialers and softwares to text message and emails in big quantities efficiently. So that's another $33,000. So now we're at $100,000. So your salary is, or should be, if you're earning gross as a real estate agent for your business, 100,000. So can you live on 33,000? Does it even make any sense whatsoever to be in business to pay yourself $33,000? What's the minimum wage today? Is it $15 here? Something like that? $15, $16? $15.25 times 40 hours a week times 52. That's minimum wage. 31,720 is minimum wage currently, and that's what you're making if your business in real estate or your gross earnings are $100,000. And how many of you are not even making that? The average broker agent makes $30,000 to $50,000 a year. So use that same math. If it's 50, that means you're making $15,000. That's insane. That's what you should be paying yourself. Now, what you guys do, and you know this, and now you're gonna hate me and you're gonna disappear, but that's okay. I gotta tell you what it is, so you learn and grow and understand that you actually take the 50. So I'm gonna go back to my example of the $100,000 where you pay yourself 33, and there should be 33,000 that's being used to operate your business. Now, what you do, and this is what you're not gonna like, is that you don't actually take that money and you pay it for salary. You use it for salary purposes. So that means you're taking that 33 for your operating the business. So marketing, office fees, tools, all of the things required to run the business, to get more business. You're taking that and you're using it to spend it on your mortgage, your car, your food, your trips, your whatever, your watches, your dumb things. And that's why you're struggling, and that's why you hate your life, and you hate being a real estate broker, and that's why you quit. You quit because you don't understand the math. If you knew that, okay, if I make 100, I can only take 33,000, but I have 33 to operate, so you can keep growing your business. You get it? So if I want to pay myself a salary of 100,000 as an employee, then how much does my real estate business have to earn? What's the math there? Well, it's going to be $333,000. Uh-oh. Now that's not the average broker's income, right? Not at all. Not even close. That you'd be in the top 1%. But why is that? It's because you don't understand that now you're a business. I didn't understand it when I started. There's no way. I mean, it took me about 10 years, even maybe more. No, about 10 years to change that mindset from what I just explained to you and understand, okay, whoa. A business revenue has nothing to do with what I'm taking and using to live and pay my mortgage and so on. So This is very powerful stuff. Understanding these numbers, it's going to set the course in a different light. You're going to rearrange what you're doing. You're going to understand now that you do have some money to use, to spend, to build your business, to grow your business, to advertise with, to buy into services like what we offer, the pre-qualified leads, the targeted, which I didn't talk about, but all these services is to help you grow your business without you having to do it, and without you having to hire someone, train them, pay them, supervise them. And that's why we came out with all these things. So I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps you. The whole purpose of this is really giving you all of the potential help that you can get and understand better what is your priorities every day, what you should be focusing on, and try to clarify all that from a guy that's been in this business for 23 years and that's done pretty damn good for himself. You want to check me out? You don't know who I am? Well, you got to follow me on social media. You're watching me right now live. Go follow me on your favorite platform. We put out, Matteo, what do? We do 9 in the morning to 9 at night. What is it? What's this? 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. One post, one reel, one story, one of everything every hour from 6 to 9 across all platforms, all content, all interviews with super successful brokers, sharing what they have been doing and what they do to get to where what they've achieved, all in the hopes that you listen, pay attention, understand better what you should be doing. I'm going to leave you with one last little suggestion here is do not follow 700 different people when you talk about learning how to grow your business or getting better or training or mentors. There's many different versions of what to do and how to do it. And if you like someone's style and you can verify that it worked for them and they have the success that you would love to have, then follow that person and block out everything else, or else you're going to get confused. And with confusion comes what? Paralysms. What's the word? You get paralyzed. What's the word? Paralysis, right? You see, I don't even know how to say certain words, but I know business and I know real estate and I know sales and marketing, and I want to help you. So that's the key here. Reach out. You have the number on the screen. You can jump on any of the programs, or you can reach out to me. I'm actually recruiting brokers right now. We're looking for 10 real estate brokers to get their business from zero to whatever they want in 90 days, because I'm going to do it with you hand by hand. But you got to commit. You got to commit and you got to work hard, but we're going to do it together. So we're going to take what we learned today, but push it even further. And that's my commitment to you. So if you're interested in anything, please reach out. You have the number. You know where to reach me. All the best to you today.